Hey guys, Jeff Marples here. Thanks for watching again. I wanted to do a quick little Google map tutorial on some of the buildings, and so you could see where they're located. A lot of people talk to me, one of the questions I always ask people, when they're coming into the city or they're relocating is, where are you working, right? And so commute really makes a difference. A lot of people want to just stay down in that South Beach area where it's one of these things that they want new construction. South Beach has the best weather in the city. You're along Embarcadero. That area is growing like a weed. We've got AT&T Ballpark where I'm going to be tonight. You also have Chase Stadium coming up. Got a lot of jobs and transportation, guys. So when you think about buying real estate, if you're an investor or an owner-occupier, these areas are really a sort of a safe zone. And the reason why I say that is because it's jobs and transportation. If you are as close as you can to jobs and transportation from a purchase point of view, you can always rent it out. There's always going to be demand versus being way out in the sticks, right? And for San Francisco, I'd say the sticks are like, Pacific Ocean, outer Sunset, because it's a long way to get from there into your jobs if you work downtown. You're taking the N Jude. It's going to take you 45 minutes, hours to get to work, depending. So I wanted to show you a little bit of what's going on. Let me show you my Google map, and I'll sort of take you to a tutorial of sort of the buildings that are in the area and give you an overview so you can conceptualize where these buildings are, right? And you could just sort of say, if I wanted to be in a condo high-rise, these areas, this makes sense to me. And I'll just sort of run down something like this. So right here, we're going to start off, you're going to start off at the Ferry Building right here. Let me back out of that one. That jumped pretty far. So we got the Ferry Building, right? And it's at the very end of Market Street. You have north of Market Street, it's going to be the Financial District. South along the Embarcadero is going to be South Beach. There are a couple really buildings over here within the Embarcadero area, or within the Financial District. One of the buildings that comes to mind is really going to be the 333 Bush Street. If you want to be, you have to be down in the Financial District, 333 Bush Street. I've seen some really good units in there. Some of them have been renovated, but the views on some of those are just killer. If you wanted a little bit more of a townhouse style, this is the Golden Gateway Commons. It's a 3-building complex around Jackson Square. You're right here in the old sort of the Barbary Coast area right in here. That's the old San Francisco. So jobs, you also have restaurants, you have some entertainment over there. And you also have a lot of the conveniences of the Embarcadero Center, which is right here. So Safeway, laundry, movie theater, Gap, and all of these different clothiers and whatnot are really readily available. Plus, you're right there on Embarcadero and you're at the Ferry Building. When you come down a little bit further, there's going to be some of the higher end buildings along the Market Street area. It's going to be like the Ritz-Carlton. You're going to have the Four Seasons. A little bit down on 2nd Street, Mina, you're going to have the Ritz or the St. Regis Condo Hotel. A lot of people, if you want to go that way, you can. A little bit more expensive, clearly, but you get more service. Those are condo hotels. So if you want to order a burger, you can order a burger. Now, this Google Map portrayal is a little bit older. If you know the area right now, this area has already been built out. These lots are already under construction. You already have some construction going on over here and whatnot. So this map, I think, is probably 2 years old, to be honest with you. But it's going to still give you a good representation of the buildings, right? So right in here, one of the most popular complexes is going to be Infinity. Infinity, I think, is a really, really good location because you're along the Embarcadero, right, and you're north of the bridge. In this building right here on Spear Street, on this side, you have amazing views of the Bay Bridge, guys. Those units come up very, very rarely, just simply because, those people that own it, they can't really go up because you cannot beat that view at a certain point. This is the first tower of Infinity. You know, it's a two high rise, two low rise, and what they did, the developer, Tishman Speyer, they created, they took the best of the first tower, they incorporated the second tower, and that's where you know your HVAC unit door panels are a little bit different place, your cabinets are a little bit different, but then they took the concepts and sort of the failures, to be honest with you, at Infinity, and then they incorporated into Lumina. Now, Lumina is these two buildings with the two low rises, and it's much more luxurious. And I think really the downside in Infinity was really, you know, people didn't like the pool, the access way rather to the pool and the gym underneath, you know. So Lumina, they stepped it up because they saw how popular Millennium was before the news broke on Millennium. So they went for a much more luxurious look and feel. And I think it does play out, especially because Infinity has sort of a wedge-shaped living room on most of them, because it's sort of a rounded building if you see it. So this is more of like a rounded corner. But when you have Lumina, they incorporated it so your views in a lot of the units are not just a pie shape, but they're really like a 180 sweep. I mean, it's really, some of those units have just really dramatic views. So if you want more of a luxurious high-end building, Lumina is a great building. Infinity is a great building. When you get over to here, I'm going to show a couple other really a couple of my favorite buildings here. You've got One Rincon. If you are a view buyer, guys, look at One Rincon right here. You have to get up off of the freeway a bit, ideally. You also have the Harrison, which is built 10 years later, but it really is the same building but opposite layout. And it has a higher level of finish. It just has one of these, it's almost like a French hotel. It's really sort of over the top. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, I get it. There's a couple other buildings that are going to be over in this area too. You've got buildings like the Blue off of Folsom. You're going to find buildings like One Hawthorne, and some coming off of New Montgomery. So a lot of these buildings are actually sort of right in here. Kind of hard to get in there and show you exactly, but they're right in there. And so if you wanted a little bit more of a, I would say, a cosmopolitan feel, especially a cosmopolitan feel with a walk score of 100, go to One Hawthorne. Really good building. They're not as big. I would call them more of a boutique building. And then you have other buildings that I think are a great location, but a little older buildings that, you know, aren't so sexy. You've got buildings like right in here. You've got 400 Beale, which is the bridge view. You've got the Baycrest at 201 Harrison. And then you have Portside right here. You got North and South Portside. You also have this building. It's a standalone. That's Watermark. I've seen some great views from Watermark also, guys. You know, it really comes down what side of the bridge you're on, because remember the traffic noise from the bridge, you do hear it. And it does impact certain floors if you're facing the bridge. So you just got to know that. I haven't seen anything on Socket site for a long time regarding this lot, because this lot right over here, Pier 30, that was going to be the lot for the Warrior Stadium, which is no longer there, right? When you come down here, you have a 3-building complex. Let's see if we can get a little closer. A 3-building complex. This is the Brannan. That is just, you know, it was the first building in the location that came up, 2001, I believe. Great building or complex. You know, it really has this W hotel feel to it. You know, big glass heavy doors as you enter. It's just a really nice, and it has an outdoor complex, a pool and gym. Over here, you've got this square right here. That is 200 Brannan. If you liked the loft style, you know, it's a newer complex, so it's concrete. But that building is a really nice one. There's a small little building over here by the same developer that built, I think it was 41 Federal. Really cool, very modern too. This building right here, this low rise, this is one of my favorite buildings in the city. That is the Oriental Warehouse. The Oriental Warehouse is a building that was actually one of the original buildings in San Francisco. The exterior of the building is a brick facade, and it's just really, it's a cool building because they kept the facade, they built out the interior, so it's a sort of a building within a building or a shell. And some of those units are just killer. If you like that brick and timber look for a loft space, this building is definitely on your radar. Same with this building over here on Bryant. There are buildings that are original, older style buildings that do have that brick and timber to it. And it's just really one of these things that you really want to take a look at. I think the building I'm thinking about is this right in here. Great, great building. I mean, it's lofts that are just massive and just very, very cool. There's a couple other buildings in here as well. You got how Embarcadero wraps around and you go onto King Street, right? You have AT&T Ballpark. There's a building right here called 170 off of 3rd. That's a great building. Not a good one for investors because there's a limitation on rental. So there's a rental restriction. Only 20% of the units in that building can be rented. Really good building. The thing about it, I like it. You know, if you're out in AT&T and you look at it, you have these concrete, you know, Greek sconces on the wall of baseball players. On the other side of the building, on the Townsend side of the building, you have a lot of the glass. So every floor has an art sculpture within the pool area. There's a lot of blown glass. It's just really pretty killer. The developer, you know, he spent the extra money to really make it unique. This is a complex called the Brannan. You know, this building had been mired in an arbitration for a long time. That has gone away, which is good. There's a low-rise portion, and then there's a high-rise portion. I like the high-rises personally. I think, you know, and part of that is because it's you know, the elevator bank. I think there's only 12 units per floor. There are units there that really do have some spectacular views. And the kind of views, especially when you're at nighttime and you're on the north side of the building, you're looking towards the downtown. So the downtown, you see the city skyline, like a Manhattan skyline. And it's in the distance. And the thing is, it's in the distance, you know. The difference is all of these buildings, you know, the city can change the height requirement, you know. And I think they have up to a certain point into here. So things can change. I know this lot is going to be built out, but I don't think it's going to be quite as high. So those, you know, that's a good building. Lower price points, higher HOA. It's a little bit older building, you know, and it had, you know, it had a stain on it, I would say. Jobs and transportation, guys, look, there's Caltrain right there. You also have the N Judah that comes up off of 3rd and go, oh, the N Judah comes up here. But you also have the T Street line that goes on 3rd all the way down to Bayview. So jobs and transportation, guys. You get over to Berry Street. Berry Street wraps, here, go back out a little bit. Berry Street is this street right here. And it goes right into AT&T. So the people that are on that street live there. You don't have any transients. You don't have any, you know, hippies or whatever. People that are on that street were walking. They're either going to the ballpark because there's a ballpark game, or they're people that live there and they reside there and they're going to work. A lot of jobs over here, guys. A lot of jobs over here, and a lot of jobs south, right? These buildings on Berry Street, I really like them. I think that the difference is some of the views, you know, you're looking out some of these, you know, my personal preference would be the units that are overlooking the bay or the McCovey Cove. That's really where the juice is. This building right here is Artera. It's one of my favorite buildings on Berry Street just because it's a LEED certified building. It's green. It also has a real hip feel to it. You know, the use of color and the materials, very, very cool. And now I'm going to jump down a little bit further down. And this is, once again, this is a little bit older, guys. So, you know, you have the piers over here. These are going to change more into a ferry building concept. You're still a ways away from that, but this lot right here is now considered One Mission Bay. That just goes to show you that this picture is really old because this has been completely built out already. You have Long Bridge. Now, one of my favorite buildings actually is the Arden. And the reason why I like it is because it's very quiet in that pocket. If you can look at McCovey Cove, you have Mission Creek Park. Mission Creek Park is going to extend all the way to 3rd Street and it's going to come all the way down here. You see all the houseboats. They've already built a lot of it out. If you've been down there, I mean, there's a chain, there's a fence around it, but the parking lot's there, everything's there. It's getting better and better. But Arden, I just really like because it's very private. It's set back, so you don't have the 3rd Street cable cars or the Muni going right by you. All of these buildings right here, guys, have already come up also. These are all built out. We also have a playground over here, which it gets used a lot, actually. You have this building right here. This is the Radiance. This is one of the first buildings in the area right here. Then Bose, the developer, built out Mission Bay, and then they did Arden. Madrone is a really good building, too. You know, there's a current unit over here. It's like $6 million, something like that. Great views, guys. The one caveat is you got to know what's going to come up here, because your views, especially for north side, they can get affected, right? They really can. So that's just my tutorial. If you go further down on 3rd Street, you're going to hit an area called Dog Patch, which is very eclectic. You have, the thing is, you've got the 3rd Street light rail muni that brings it into the city. But at the same time, you've got lofts, you've got old warehouse that are converted. You've got old Victorian homes down there too. It's really pretty cool. And then you go over to South Beach. This is all South Beach, but I'm sorry, then Moscone Center, which is technically Yerba Buena. So you have buildings like right here. That's going to be right next to the museum. This right here is St. Regis. So your condo hotels are going to be right in here. And then it goes into Soma. And, Soma has been changing drastically, right? So anyway, that's just a quick little tutorial, guys. I just wanted to give you a quick sort of rundown on, what's going on in the city, give you an idea of the positioning of these buildings. And remember, go to my website, San Francisco Condomania. We have all of the listings out there, and it's a great site. My partners with that site, just outstanding people. And the thing is, everything is on our servers, so we are updating that information daily. And you could drill down into neighborhoods, you could drill down into complex. So remember, San Francisco Condomania, take a look. And if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. I'm always available. I'm making things happen. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to see if I can hit the right button here, because this thing wants to be a little bit tricky sometimes. Anyway, take care, guys. Thanks so much.